Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to paint golden hour reflections using watercolors. So let's get started. Okay, so the paper is ready. I have already taped it down. Now run your finger over the edges to make sure the paper is tightly sealed. Okay, now let's draw the composition of the painting. So somewhere in the upper half of the paper, I'll draw this horizon line. Then a mountain, same will be the reflection of the mountain. And here we will um, add some kind of land, you know, leave some space to depict the land area, and we will add the trees here. I'm just adding the skeleton as of now. We will define the shape when we paint. And here towards the foreground, let's add the riverbank area. I don't want these pencil lines to be appearing in the end result, so I'll erase them, but the composition is gonna remain the same. The pencil marks in the watercolor painting should always be light. Keep that in mind. Okay, now we have the basic idea of where our mountains and reflection is gonna be. I can still see the light markings for the mountain. Alright, let's start. I'll keep the masking tape under my paper to create a slight tilt while painting. Alright. Alright, to begin with, I'll wet the paper using water sprayer. This way it is easier to wet the paper. Now I just have to spread it out throughout the paper. I'll be running my brush multiple times over this paper to make sure it is evenly wet. Just turn the board around in different direction to remove all the extra water that's sitting on the paper and also on the edges. Now with the same mop brush, this is size 6 mop brush, I'm going to mix an yellowish orange color. So I'll take this yellow ochre and some orange. Yellow ochre and orange. Mix it in equal amount and apply on the sky. This is the mountain part, right? So I'm not applying the color there. Similarly here. Paint outside of the mountain shape that we had drawn earlier. And it is okay if you apply the paints in the riverbank area. We are anyway going to cover it up with darker color. Next, take a damp brush and lift all the excess colors from the masking tape or the sides of the paper. If you leave it as it is, it might create some backgrounds You could even use the same brush or switch to a slightly thinner brush. This is size 8 round brush. That was size 6 mop brush. Okay, so now I'll take cobalt blue, mix it with the same color and a bit of orange. I have added only about 10% of yellow or orange color. Rest is all blue. So our color is still blue. We'll apply this on the mountain area. If you're not sure about the color mixing, then you could directly use cobalt blue. Now let's paint the reflection as well. Try to create the same shape as that of the mountain. Note that I'm not mixing blue and yellow here. If you mix it, you will end up getting a greenish color in the sky. So next I'll take yellow, this is raw umber, and I'll apply around the horizon area. You could also go with any other brown color like burnt sienna or burnt umber. There is no restriction. This depicts the land near the horizon area. Alright, so next let's take indigo or Payne's grey. Any color will do. I'll take indigo. And let's add some trees here. At this point I'm simply adding some vertical lines. Make sure you're repeating the same in the reflection part as well. Try to replicate the similar height. Also, your brush should not have too much of paint. Just the right amount of paint in your brush will create such kind of trees. Now I'm applying some overlapping brush strokes. Your trees and mountains need not be exactly same as mine. Feel free to paint your own style of trees. It is your way of expressing the art. Alright, so we will stop this here and move on to our foreground element, which is the river bank area. So I'll simply spray some water here just to make sure my paper is damp and not dry. Next I'll take burnt sienna and paint over here in the foreground area. This is the ground part, the river bank, like I said. Paint this with burnt sienna or any brown that you already have. Next, to add a sense of depth in this area, I'll be adding a slightly darker color. So mix Payne's grey with brown. So here I don't want this hairy texture, so I'm going to tilt my board in different direction. And after this step, I'm going to dry it using my hair dryer. I'll be drying the paper to about 40 to 50% and then we'll stop in the midway. Okay, so let's stop here. The paper is about 40-50% dry. Now I'm going to splatter some water on this damp area. You can see these blooms being formed. Alright, let us dry it again fully. Alright, the paper looks dry now. Let's move on to add some further elements in the painting. So here, to add some depth in this part, I'm adding some darker brown lines here and dabbing it with my finger so that it is not very prominent. Just blend it with the background. Next, I'll mix black color. You could take any darker color you have, and with this mix, let us paint the foreground trees. Here I am using wet on dry technique for this, meaning I am painting on a dry paper. So for this part, I'm going to just dab some color like this so that the tree gets blended well. Let me show you the closer view. So here I've added the trunk of the tree and we'll add some branches. I'm painting very tiny lines. You can fold the branches into multiple parts. Paint the branches in any direction you want. Keep it very irregular. The thickness of the branches depends on the pressure you apply while painting. Suppose you apply more pressure, your lines are going to be thicker, and when you apply lighter, very least pressure, you're going to get very thinner lines. So keep that in mind. You can also use a fine liner brush. For the basic skeleton, I have used my size 8 brush, and now for the tiny lines, tiny twigs on the trees, I'm going to use this fine liner brush. It really helps me to create thinner lines. You could keep it minimal or add a lot of branches, it's up to you. We'll add some overlapping branches. This will make it appear organic. Alright, now let's take some brown color and we'll add some tiny lines. This will add a sort of character to the grasses. You could even add simple grass blades. So here I'll place my brush against the paper horizontally and spread the paints. This will create a sort of textured effect in the painting. I will repeat the same step in the horizon part as well. When you have a balance of lighter and darker color, the painting will appear harmonious. Now I'm gonna add a bird, just one bird. Seems like the bird is flying away from this tree. You can add more birds if you want. Alright then, we are done with this painting. I'm gonna remove the masking tape. There you go, this is how our painting looks like. I hope you enjoyed painting this with me. Alright, I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye bye. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. That would really mean a lot to me.